The situation in Ukraine by the end of September 4, 2022. Russian troops hit the concentrations of enemy manpower in Stukalovka, Shalygino, Esmani, Seredina-Budakh, Znob-Novgorodsky and Krasnopolye in the Sumy region, as well as in Mikhailinskaya Sloboda in the Chernihiv region. Despite the counteroffensive of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kharkiv direction that had not yet begun, the enemy stepped up the work of artillery. Ukrainian formations fired at Cossack Lopan, Sosnovka and Big Passages in the north of the Kharkov region. In the Barvenkovsky direction, Izyum and Balakliya were subjected to massive shelling by the armed forces of Ukraine. Ukrainian DRGs periodically enter the territory controlled by the RF armed forces. Enemy sniper groups are working not far from Ud. The RF armed forces carried out strikes on the deployment point of the National Battalion Kraken in the Kievsky district of Kharkiv. Russian artillery and aviation worked on targets in the area of Stary Saltov, Andreevka, Dolina, Gzarivka, Slatino, Chugev, and Peremogha. The armed forces of Ukraine announced the capture of the village of Ozernoye on the northern bank of the Seversky Donets in the Slavic Barvenkovsky direction. In fact, the sortie turned out to be a PR action. The enemy crossed the river in a small group and took a series of photographs in an empty village in the Grey Zone, after which they retreated to their original positions. Despite the formal control of the settlement by the Allied forces, there is no stronghold in Ozerny, since any location there will be vulnerable due to the terrain. The village is located in a lowland. There are no significant changes in the front line in the Bakhmut, Artemovsk, direction. Clashes continue in Kodem. Wagner PMC assault squads are squeezing out the enemy on the western outskirts of the settlement. In the Donetsk direction, Allied forces are fighting in the suburbs of the capital of the DPR. Ukrainian formations once again fired at the settlements of the Donetsk agglomeration. There are wounded and dead among civilians. Between Pesky and Pervomaysky, units of the People's Militia of the DPR are fighting for strongholds on the Donetsk Ring Road. Allied forces are pushing the enemy back from the Mayorskaya railway station northwest of Gorlovka. In the Zaporozhye region, the parties are engaged in artillery duels along the entire line of contact. Russian artillerymen are striking at the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in Nikopol and Marganets on the northern bank of the Dnieper, from where the ZNPP is being shelled. Active battles for Visokopol and Shalygino continue in the Kryvyi Rog direction. This morning, the airborne forces left Visokopol to avoid encirclement. At 1600 hours, Russian troops launched a counteroffensive and, according to preliminary information, managed to level the front line, returning the abandoned positions.